You are approaching your subway station. Please check the subway destination.
Getting to our DMZ tour started with a ride on the Korean subway. And honestly, it couldn't have been easier. The stations were clean, quiet, and really well organized, which made navigating with our family stress-free. We followed the signs toward the Myeongdong Station in the Jungu district, and everything was clearly marked in Korean and English. The trains arrived right on time, and the ride itself was smooth and comfortable. Before we knew it, we were stepping off at the Myeongdong Station and heading toward our tour bus pickup spot. It was a simple, efficient way to get across the city and a fun little adventure before the big one at the DMZ. These are our exit numbers right here, and 9 is that way.
Please fasten your seatbelts. Going to the military area today, so we need to have military permit to enter DMZ. Did everyone bring your passports? Yes. Yes. Okay, good. Does anyone have idea where the DMZ is? That way? That way? All right. So you all know that our country is divided, right? North Korea and South Korea. And DMZ is in between two Koreas, right? So we're gonna head up to north for about 50 kilometers. That will take about 45 to 50 minutes from here. And we're going to visit 4 different places. First place is Imjingak Peace Park. Imjingak Peace Park is a place full of history and emotion that relates to Korean War. Okay. Second place is the third Infiltration Tunnel. Have you ever heard about secret tunnels made by North Koreans? Yes, we are visiting one of them. And the third place is the observatory, Dora Observatory. If we are lucky, we can see North Korea today. Okay. And the fourth place is Unification Village. There are some DMZ villages, and we are visiting one of the village named Unification Village. Okay, so we are going to go to the checkpoint before entering DMZ, and the soldier will get on the bus and check your IDs in person. So you have to show the passport to the soldier, and they will check. And when the soldiers check your ID, please smile. Pretend that you don't have any plan to go to North Korea today, okay? All right. Okay. Second regulation is about the photo. You can really take photos and videos everywhere except for 3 places. The first place is the checkpoint. When the soldiers come in, do not take photos of the soldiers, including outside facilities. Second place is inside the tunnel. When we go into the tunnel, actually we cannot bring anything into the tunnel. Only thing allowed is your name tag and watch. And everything else, cell phone, wallets, passports, bags, hats, everything into the locker. Okay? All right. And the third place we cannot take photos is the observatory. Observatory, we cannot take photos inside and outside military facilities. This is because of North Korea's threat. Last year, we have intensive tension between North and South Korea, and North Korea threatened us that if they see anybody at the observatory, they will shoot. So the observatory was closed for 4 months last year. And then when we reopened, they threatened us again. So close. Open, close. But this year, Fortunately, it's open, but only the indoor area for everyone's safety. But Korean government do not want to provoke North Korea, so no photos inside and outside of the observatory. Everyone clear? Yes. Okay. To help you understand why the DMZ is established, I'll have to go back to the history of the Korean War. Okay. So before the Korean War, our country was not divided into North and South Korea. We were just one nation called Joseon. Joseon dynasty lasted for about 500 years until the Japanese occupation in 1910. So for 35 years, we were under Japanese colonial rule until Japan surrendered in World War II in 1945. So when Japan surrendered in World War II, we had the liberation, but no power. So the two superpowers, the winners of the World War II, Soviet Union occupied the North and United States occupied the South. And they marked the boundary at the 38th parallel, dividing our country into two parts with different ideology. Soviet Union with socialist ideology and United States with democratic ideology. And 3 years after the liberation in 1948, South Korea established government first as Republic of Korea, capital city, Seoul. And the month after, North Korea also established their own government as Democratic People's Republic of Korea, capital city, Pyeonghwa. Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Do you agree? No, right? Okay. So when we established our own government, Soviet troops and United States troops left our country. And from then on, North Korea prepared the war. So the founder of North Korea, the first dictator, Kim Il-sung, wanted to communize South Korea, and he wanted to rule over entire Korean peninsula. So Kim Il-sung, the first dictator, is the grandfather of Kim Jong-un, the current dictator. So the first dictator is the grandfather, second dictator is the father, and third dictator is now Kim Jong-un, the rocket man, right? Okay. So they had support from China and Soviet Union with a lot of powerful weapons. North Korea had more than 200 tanks and 200 aircrafts. South Korea, 0 tank, 0 combat planes. So we were not prepared. One day, early in the morning, 4 a.m. Sunday morning, June 25, 1950, North Korea invaded South Korea, crossing over the 38th parallel. And within 3 days, capital city of Seoul was occupied. And within 2 months, 80% of South Korea was captured by North Korean troops. And only the area nearby Busan was left. Busan is a city, southeast area of South Korea. Yes. And when US President Harry S. Truman, when he heard about the outbreak of the Korean War, he immediately called UN Security Council for emergency meeting. And UN decided to support South Korea. So 22 countries, 16 with military support and 6 with medical support, help in the South Korean side. And the first UN commander, General Douglas MacArthur, he had a real smart plan. Have you all landed in Incheon Airport? Incheon is a city just nearby Seoul, 1 hour drive, right? So he planned Incheon landing operation. So from Incheon, he cut off the supply lines from North Korea, so we could successfully push back to north, crossing over the 38th parallel, capture Pyongyang, even up to the Yalu River. Yalu River is a river between China and North Korea. So we thought that the war was almost over. But unfortunately, there were Chinese troops waiting for us, hiding. because there was a promise between the leader of China, Mao Zedong, and Kim Il-sung, the first dictator, that China will support North Korea if South Korea cross over 38th parallel. So when we reached Yalu River, Chinese troops joined and pushed us down back. So we lost Seoul one more time. So capital of Seoul was taken twice during the Korean War. And of course, UN troops pushed back and Chinese troops pushed down. So within 20-kilometer range, the battle line just moved up, down, for 3 years. So all the countries who's participating were getting tired, and war was horrible, causing a lot of casualties, destroying the whole territory, especially for children. We had more than 100,000 war orphans. So the negotiation began. Finally, in 1953, armistice agreement has signed and the war has stopped. But armistice agreement is not a peace treaty. It's just a ceasefire to stop the war. So technically, we are still under the war, right? And we do not have military conflicts like the wartime, but we do have psychological warfare. Have you ever heard about the air balloon filled up with trashes flying over Seoul? Yes, that's the trash balloon sent by North Korea, and sometimes it exploded in front of the president's office. And South Korea, we have a lot of giant speakers along the borderline, big, loud speaker. We play K-pop music, news to North Korea, because North Korean people cannot hear outside news or outside music. And Kim Jong-un hates it when we play that, right? So we play many music and news towards North Korea, right? And when the armistice agreement has signed, the new border line has set up. Before it was just a straight line along the 38th parallel, but the front line of the battles become the actual border line, military demarcation line. And imagine if there is only one line between North and South Korea. It will be very easy to fight again, right? So we set up a buffer zone. If this is military demarcation line, 2 kilometers above, northern limit line, and 2 kilometers below, southern limit line. 4 kilometers and 250 kilometers from west coast to east coast, this is DMZ, demilitarized zone, where nobody's allowed to enter, right? And more than 2 million landmines were dropped in the DMZ to prevent invasion, right? So you are visiting the most dangerous place in the world today, right? And you will be safe if you stay in the tourist destination with me. And individual activities are prohibited, so you are allowed to go into the tourist destination only accompanied by the tour guide, okay? You have to stay with me together, all right?
Our DMZ tour began at Imjingak, Pyeonghwa, Nuri Park in Paju, a site created to help people understand the history and impact of the Korean War. Here you can see the Freedom Bridge, once used for prisoner exchanges, and the old steam locomotive that was stranded when the border between North and South Korea was drawn. The fences, covered in messages of hope, show how deeply families were affected by the division. It's a powerful introduction to the history behind the DMZ.
Okay, stars, please come closer. This is located at the northernmost area of South Korea. And now we have 51 million population in South Korea, and there are 26 million population in North Korea. But during the Korean War, total population was around 30 million. But 10 million people got displaced and separated from their families. So their hometown is in North Korea, but they had to stay in South Korea after the war. So whenever displaced people miss their families and hometowns, they come here and look toward North Korea and pray. But this in South Korea, we have a special tradition. Not only in South Korea, actually the whole Korea have a special tradition called ancestral ritual ceremony. It is from the Confucian ideology from Joseon Dynasty. We believe that even our ancestors die, that they will protect us, and we do the ancestral ritual ceremony every traditional holidays. These two traditional holidays are Lunar New Year's Day and Korean Thanksgiving Day. Families gather together in the hometowns and prepare food together and have happy time together and perform the ancestral ritual ceremony. But displaced people cannot go back to their hometowns to meet their families, so they gather here, have a joint ritual ceremony in front of this special altar called Mangbedan altar. They prepare all kinds of food, including rice, soup, meat, fish, vegetable, fruits, and liquor, and burn is a stick to call out ancestral spirit. And they bow down and pray and prepare flowers. But this is the story of the war generation, which are very, very old now. Younger members of the family cannot understand why their grandparents come here, line up, crying at the altar. So they just see one amusement park in the parking lot. Younger generations, they enjoy their times while grandparents come here and cry and pray. This is very strange, right? But this is a painful reality of a divided country. And this altar is for this displaced people. Okay? This way, please. Okay, I told you that there were 10 million people who were separated into one country. But during the wartime, it was 1950s. No mobile phones, no internet. So even though they evacuated to South together with their family, once they get separated, they don't know where the families are. So they had to be separated even though they were staying in South Korea together. But in 1980s, early 1980s, color TVs started to distribute in South Korea. And our national broadcast, KBS, planned a special live broadcast called Finding Dispersed Families. That was planned for a 2-hour live broadcast, but more than 100,000 families registered for the show to find their families. So the show had to extend to 138 days. So the vast recordings of the videotapes, producers' workbook, and the cue sheet, registration form were all listed in UNESCO's Memory of the World. UNESCO also considered this event as a World Heritage, and there is a popular theme song of this TV show. And the lyrics is written on the stone monument, and the lyrics is about longing for their family. And this the song became the hit song in the shortest period of time and listed in Korean Guinness Book Record. I'll let you hear this song. The lyrics is about whether it's raining or windy or sunny. I'm longing for my families. Mother, father, where are you? This kind of lyrics are sung by the popular national singers Harunda. Okay, this way, please. So before the Korean War, our country was not separated. There was only one nation. And the railroad was connecting from north to south, south to north. And this steam locomotive used to run before the Korean War throughout the peninsula. It was a cargo train. But during the Korean War, it was used to transport military supplies for South Korean armies. But One day, on the way to Pyongyang, North Korea, it had to retreat back because Chinese troops joined the war. So they pushed us down. So this train was retreating back. And on the way, like nearby the DMZ area, it got attacked by UN troops. UN troops came here to support South Korean side, right? But why UN troops had to attack the same team? It is because Chinese troops were pushing us down really fast. UN troops didn't want the military supplies to be used by Chinese or North Koreans. So they had to bomb all the cargo parts that has the military supplies in it. And only the front part of this steam locomotive was abandoned in the DMZ for more than 50 years. It was very difficult to bring it back here because of the landmines. And one fascinating thing happened during these 50 years. There was one tree growing on top of this tree, and that's the tree over there, the mulberry tree. And we brought it together and planted it next to the tree. So this tree symbolizes the pain of the war, and that tree symbolizes the hope for reconnection, right? Can you see many ribbons hanging on the fence here? Yes. The landmines in the DMZ flow down to the civilian area during the heavy rain. So we had to make one more line to protect our civilians. And this fence is that line called civilian control line. And this is the last point where civilians can come without any military restriction. So displaced people, when they come here, they look toward north and cry, longing for their families, right? They also write down messages in the ribbon and hang it there. And the messages are, I love you, Mom. I miss my dad. I want to go back to my hometown. They write these ones, and they hope that the wind can bring their messages to North Korea. When the South Korean soldiers came here, they are forced to wear North Korean communist uniforms. But they didn't like that, right? So as soon as they reach here, they take it off, tore it, fired it, and finally got the freedom to go back home. Okay, stars! So I told you that there were 22 UN countries who helped in South Korean side, right? So the 16 countries who helped with military support is on that train. That's the amusement park train with their flags on it. So the name of the train is Peace Train. And there is one more train over there, the black train, right? That's the real train that used to run before the Korean War across the Korean Peninsula. But during the Korean War, many of our railroads got destroyed. And that's the point where the railroad was disconnected. And we placed stone monument, and this stone monument is saying, let the iron horse run again for reconnection of the railroad, right? And behind us, you can see some US flags and South Korean flags flying there because US soldiers, many US soldiers died during the Korean War, more than 33,000 of them. So we made memorial place for US soldiers, and in front of that flags, there is the statue of Harry S. Truman, who helped South Korea during the Korean War. Okay, and you will see one little store beside that black train, little white store. That's the only place in South Korea where you can see North Korean money with the dictator's face. So if you want to check that, you can also check that.
Next on our trip, we hopped onto the Paju Imjingak Peace Gondola for a quick ride across the river. Boarding was smooth and easy. Just step inside, sit back, and watch the doors glide shut as the gondola lifts off. As we floated over the water, we got a clear view of the surrounding hills and peaceful landscape, as well as the barbed wire fences, surveillance posts, and secured areas near the DMZ. And once we reached the other side, we could see the fenced-off minefield area, a stark reminder of the region's history. After just a few minutes of exploring, it was time to head back and meet up with our tour group. It was a short ride, but still a memorable experience that provided a unique perspective you can't get from the ground. However, if you were short on time or want to maximize your touring time in Nuri Park, this is one stop that can be dropped from your scheduled tour.
Alright, stars, did you enjoy the park? Yes. Nice weather, right? Okay, now we are going to the checkpoint, military checkpoint. This is the place where the soldiers check your passports, okay? Please fasten your seatbelt and take out your passports and be ready to show to the soldiers. We've just entered the National Road number 1. Our road is physically connected to North Korea. This National Road number 1 is connected all the way to north. At the end of this road, you will see one toll gate, and that toll gate is the entrance to North Korea. Remember, during the Sunshine Policy period, we had factories running in North Korea, and those factory managers should go to their workplace, right? So through this toll gate, they have been going to North Korea after all this CIQ process, just like the airport, customs, immigration, and quarantine. And at the end of this road, you will see the transit office building with CIQ. And we have one international train station called Dora International Train Station. Our peninsula is surrounded by water, 3 parts: West Coast, South Coast, and East Coast, right? And South Korea borders with North Korea, North Korea borders with China and Russia. And the railway is connected from South Korea to North Korea, right? And there is Eurasian Railway Network connecting Asia to Europe. So once we got reunified, we can travel to Europe by train. So it will be connected to North Korea, to China, to Russia, to Trans-Siberian Railway that brings to Europe. So one day, I hope I can go to Europe by train. Yes. So soon on your left side, at the end of this road, you will see the Dorasan International Train Station and the Transit Office Building with CIQ. All right. But this toll gate and the international train station was closed down from 2016. Remember, we didn't continue to have this business cooperation after we found out that the money was used to develop nuclear weapons. So that's the train station and the CIQ, and in front of us is the toll gate. But from 2016 it was closed down, but this toll gate was open in 2018 for 20 minutes only. Remember the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympic Games? Yes, this toll gate was open for 20 minutes for North Korean athletes and cheerleaders to come over to South. After that, it was shut down again. Okay, now we are on the way to the third infiltration tunnel. According to the witness, there should be more than 20 secret tunnels, but we've discovered only 4 tunnels. We are visiting the third one today. Right? But how can we find the tunnel if it's very deep underground? It's 73 meters deep underground. That's about 25-story building's depth. Okay, and there was one North Korean defector working as a tunnel engineer. He saw many soldiers dying inside the tunnel due to lack of oxygen and toxic gases made from the dynamite, and he escaped to South Korea. He didn't want to die like other soldiers, and he gave us information about the tunnel. There should be a tunnel nearby, underneath DMZ. But since he was working underground, he didn't know the exact location. So he told us that there should be tunnel somewhere over there. So South Korean government pierced 107 boreholes, the big pipe filled with water, and wait until something happened. But nothing happened for 4 years. But one day in 1978, one of the boreholes exploded with water. So we knew that there's something going on inside. So we pierced 5 more boreholes nearby the explosion. When we pour the water, one of them, the water just drowned. Oh, we've just crossed the DMZ line, the southern limit line. So here is the real DMZ. Welcome to DMZ, everyone. Okay, all right. So when we find out that one borehole just drained the water, we thought there was empty space underground. So from that point, we dug a tunnel, interception tunnel. So interception tunnel is a steep tunnel that's approaching to infiltration tunnel. And infiltration tunnel is a small tunnel that's dug from North Korea. So when we find out this infiltration tunnel, North Korea said they didn't dug the tunnel. It was South Korea who dug the tunnel. But we have 2 clear evidences. All the dynamite holes, you can see it with the yellow circle paintings, are all facing South Korea. And there is a little bit of slight slope towards North Korea because there are many underground water, so that the underground water can drown to North Korea. When they hear the construction sound of interception tunnel, all the North Korean soldiers ran away. But before they ran away, they put charcoal powder all over the tunnel, and later they lied to us. Oh, we thought that was a coal mine. But this place is 100% granite stone area. You can check that when you go into the tunnel. You can see the charcoal powders scattered all over the tunnel. You can touch it and there will be black powder on your hand. And the interception tunnel that's built by South Korea is quite big, 3 meters high and 3 meters wide. So you can walk down easily. But when you approach to the infiltration tunnel, it will be smaller, 1.5 to 1.7 meters. So all of you who's taller than me should bend down like this. And we're gonna wear helmets inside.
안녕하세요. VIP 김미진입니다. 네.
Okay, so even though you wear helmets, I every day hear sound from all of you. So please be careful with your heads, necks, back, okay? I do not recommend to go in if you have claustrophobia, asthma, heart disease, any joint problems, pregnancy, hangovers. Okay? I don't recommend. All right. So it's not cold, it's not hot. It's about 10 to 15 degrees. So on the way up, you're gonna sweat. All right? So before going to the tunnel, we are going to go to the theater first and watch a short video clip about the Korean War. So please follow me. Theater is just in front of us. And the meeting time back to the bus. Meeting time back to the bus will be 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Bags, you can leave it here. Bring the important ones. Passport, wallets, mobile phones. All right? Okay.
One of the options of our DMZ tour was a hike down the third infiltration tunnel, a 1.6 kilometer long passage beneath the DMZ, built by North Korea for a planned surprise invasion of Seoul. The tour requires a hard hat as you walk through the narrow, dark tunnel within. The very steep hike will take you to the closest possible point between the two countries. Upon reaching the bottom, you can peer through a small window, viewing the massive concrete barricades built by South Korea, blocking future use of the tunnel and marking the military demarcation line, the actual border between the countries. Before heading underground, we watched a short film at the third tunnel center that explained how the tunnels were discovered, their purpose, and their role in the history of the DMZ.
The world's only demilitarized zone, DMZ, is a place that bears the tragedy of the time in the past. On June 25, 1950, the invasion of South Korea by the North began with earth-shattering sounds of artillery. Although North and South Korea established their own governments after World War II, the peace didn't last long. Revealing its ambition to conquer South Korea, North Korea started the Korean War in alliance with the Soviet Union. The war had turned the entire nation into ruins, resulting in over 3.9 million deaths. This war among Koreans was a true tragedy. After 3 years and 1 month, the Korean War ended with the Armistice Agreement signed in Pyeonghwa on July 27, 1953. It led to the formation of the DMZ around the military demarcation line to prevent the war from starting again. But even after the Armistice Agreement, North Korea dug underground tunnels below the demarcation line in order to invade South Korea. On November 15, 1974, an underground tunnel was discovered 1.2 kilometers south of the demarcation line, which is 8 kilometers northeast of Gorangpo, Yeoncheon, Gyeonggi-do. This is the first tunnel. On March 24th of the following year, 1975, the second tunnel was discovered 13 kilometers north of Cheolwon, Gangwon-do. And on October 17, 1978, the third tunnel was found. Discovered 435 meters south of the demarcation line, which is 4 kilometers south of Panmunjom. The third tunnel is big enough for 30,000 soldiers and artillery to pass through within 1 hour. Within the tunnel, there were clear evidences of the tunnel being planned to be used to invade South Korea. On March 3, 1990, the fourth tunnel was found 26 kilometers northeast of Yeonggu, Gangwon-do. North Korea was intending to use these underground tunnels for simultaneous full-scale attack on multiple fronts, causing critical damage to South Korean forces and nationwide panic. In addition to the 4 tunnels already discovered, it is expected that there are many more tunnels that haven't been found. North Korea is provoking us endlessly, using tunnels underground, as well as on land and sea. North Korea's provocations are becoming ever more aggressive and intricate. The attack on naval ship Chana and bombing of Yeongkyeong-do in 2010 was more than provocation. It was a declaration of war. And above the tunnels, there is the DMZ. Land of life, paradise of migratory birds, and for everlasting peace, the DMZ lives on. The DMZ is a paradise for moose, goats, and wild flowers. From Chinese geese to eagles, and rare birds such as white cranes, herons, and black-faced spoonbills. The DMZ is a land of life, where wild animals live in harmony. The miracles of DMZ is now changing once again and spreading its popularity in the world. Developed into a tourist destination, the areas around the DMZ will heighten our security awareness and offer tremendous opportunities for people to coexist with nature. Beyond preservation of the ecosystem and tourism for emphasizing the importance of national security, the DMZ is becoming a symbolic space for the era of unification. Our painful history is buried in the DMZ and tunnels, but this is just another meaning for the hope and desire of reunification. We should learn the lesson that our painful history must not be repeated. Korea has overcome the pain of war and achieved miraculous economic growth. And another miracle that we must achieve as we pursue harmony and coexistence, unification. Until that day comes, the DMZ will be alive forever.
This is JSA Joint Security Area. JSA's iconic building is the blue building located in the center of this place. And this blue building is the place where we signed armistice agreement. And this place used to be the neutral zone where North Korean soldiers and South Korean soldiers walk around freely.
there was one incident in 1976. Since this was a neutral zone, this place was occupied for both North Koreans and UNs and South Koreans. But there was one UN guard post with a blue roof over here that was covered by this tree. The tree was growing tall, and UN soldiers cannot observe this guard post. They wanted to cut off the tree, but North Koreans didn't want. So UN said, can we just trim off the branches? North Korea said, that is okay. So when the UN soldiers trimming off the branches with the axe, North Korean soldiers came to them and killed 2 US officers. That's called axe murder incident. And that time, US government declared DEFCON 2, that's war state. So all the ships and aircrafts based on Guam, Pacific Ocean area, just came over to South Korea to prepare war. By that time, Kim Il-sung, the first dictator, apologized. Nothing happened. Okay, but since then, there was a military demarcation line drawn even in the JSA. So that is the reason why North Korean soldiers, South Korean soldiers face each other in between the line. And this blue building is very popular with President Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un shook hands. And this is the place where Travis King, the US soldier, crossed the line when he went to the JSA tour. Okay, let's go to the next place. So they make the dynamite hole and then put dynamite into the hole and bomb it, and the bomb stones outside with the cart. The first stage was okay, but when the tunnel gets deeper and deeper, many soldiers die because of lack of oxygen and toxic gases made from the dynamite. So when you go into the tunnel, whenever you see the yellow circles like that, that's the dynamite hole facing towards southern direction. Okay? And when you touch the walls of the tunnels or ceilings of the tunnel, you can see the charcoal powder over there. Okay? Okay, this is DMZ. So the red line in the middle is the military demarcation line, and the upper orange line is northern limit line. Bottom orange line is southern limit line. In between this orange line is DMZ. It's around 4 kilometers in average, but can you see one part that's getting very narrow in the river there? Yes, in the past, North Korean defectors could escape North Korea through that river, swimming or walking on the frozen river, but not anymore, because we have thermal observation devices that's catching all the movements, and also there are many North Korean snipers that's shooting the defectors. Okay. So we started our tour from Imjingak Peace Park here, and then we crossed the Cow Bridge, and then we are now at the 3rd tunnel. And after this, we're going to the Observatory and to Unification Village and back to Seoul. And there are 2 villages inside the DMZ, which is North Korean Propaganda Village, located on top over there, and South Korean Freedom Village. North Korean Propaganda Village is a fake village where no one lives, and South Korean Freedom Village is a real village where people live. North Korea wanted to show us in 1970s that they lived well, because in 1970s, many of the houses in South Korea are thatched house, 1-story thatched house, meaning the roofs of the house made with rice straw. We were very, very poor after the war, the poorest country in the world. But North Korea built 3 to 4-story high building in the propaganda village in 1970s to show us how well they live. So if the weather allows us, you can see the propaganda village, Freedom Village, and Kaesang Industrial Complex. Kaesang is the 3rd largest city in North Korea with 330,000 population. And these are the South Korean companies located in Kaesong Industrial Complex. And the salary, monthly salary is $168 per person. And it's very, very low, right? But more than 95% of this money was used to develop nuclear weapons. So from 2016, we stopped this cooperation. Stars. Let's have one group photo in front of the DMZ sign, okay?
Okay.
After this group, we'll have one group photo. So we are about to go to the third infiltration tunnel. And this is how the third infiltration look like. We are just standing in front of this building here. And when we go in, then the first step is to go down the intersection tunnel. It's a steep tunnel with about 355 meters. So you're gonna go down and until the point where we reach to the infiltration tunnel. At the end of the intersection tunnel, you will see the termination point of the infiltration tunnel. You will see yellow circles with dynamite holes. And this is the termination point. And when we go there, you will reach to the infiltration tunnel where the tunnel gets smaller. Everyone has to go like this. And then when you go to the end, you will see the concrete blockade. We make concrete walls to prevent invasion. So this is the end point where you can go. You will see one number here. So please try to guess what this number is. And through these windows, you can see the next concrete wall and the next concrete wall. And if you see the end, then after this is North Korea. This is the closest point from South Korea to North Korea, 170 meters away. All right, and you're gonna walk back, and the most hardest part, walking back up. You're gonna sweat. Okay, all right. Now we have around 35,000 North Korean defector population living in South Korea. It is almost impossible to defect through the DMZ, through the land, because of the landmines and also the thermal observation devices. And of course, there are many North Korean snipers, right? So the only way to defect North Korea is through China. And from China to other countries like Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, or Thailand, and they come to Korea. When they successfully make it to the Thailand South Korean embassy, Thailand South Korean embassy will provide them with a free ticket. And once they arrive in South Korea, we will have investigation first to check if they're spy or not, right? So after the investigation, they will have 12-week education program. So they will learn about South Korean system, about the government, about the public transportation, how to open a bank account, get a job training. After 12 weeks of education, then finally they can get South Korean citizenship. After that, they will get 5 years of financial support, and they can, after this 12-week program, they can live just like same as South Korean citizen. Of course, they cannot become a professionals like doctors or lawyers, but they can just work regularly like any other South Koreans. But most of them have owned their business, such as making North Korean stuffs, North Korean food, North Korean liquor. Many of them do that too. Okay, now we've arrived in the parking lot of the observatory.
Our next stop on the DMZ tour was the Dora Observatory, perched on top of Mount Dorison. From here, you can look directly across the border into North Korea. Seeing landmarks like the North Korean propaganda village, the flagpoles, and the stretches of the demilitarized zone itself.
This is another part of the psychological warfare. because there is no freedom of religion in North Korea. We light up this cross to show North Koreans that in South Korea we have freedom of religion.
Due to increased hostility from North Korea, we were not allowed to take any pictures or record any video facing north. But we enjoyed touring the mountain and recorded some video facing south. It was one of the best places to understand the geography and tension of the area.
That blue line is the Southern Limit Line. So remember, on the way to the tunnel, we crossed the blue line and went to DMZ, and this is out of DMZ now. So we are outside of the DMZ, but still inside the military zone. And now we are going to head to the Unification Village. But did you enjoy the observatory? Yes. We are very, very lucky today to see all of this. Because it is very, very difficult to see the Jamming Tower and the Kaesong City. And sometimes we cannot even see the industrial complex when there is dust and fog and raining. We cannot see anything, right? But I think today's stars are really, really lucky. Okay, so in the Unification Village, there are about 400 population. They are, most of them, 95% of them are farmers. They farm rice, soybean, and ginseng. So when you look outside, when you see this kind of fields, those are mostly rice fields and soybean fields. And if you see something like a tent, blue or black tent, that is ginseng field. Ginseng field are usually covered with the tent because ginseng do not grow well under the sunlight. So they have to be covered, okay? And Unification Village is a popular place to have these crops, and many South Korean people want to buy DMZ crops. It is because DMZ area is prohibited to use chemical fertilizer. Because of the landmines, chemical fertilizer can have some kind of reaction to the landmine. So all DMZ area is prohibited to use the chemical fertilizer. So it is super organic. And many South Korean people wants to buy DMZ crops, but it is very, very limited. So once in a year, when they held festival in the Imjingak Peace Park, we can buy DMZ crops there. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, only for 3 days in a year. So during that time, we cannot go there. No parking place. Okay, all right. So Unification Village is a village where we started during the 1970s because South Korean government didn't want to waste the land. So I told you DMZ area has perfect climate to farm rice. So in this wasted land, we brought 80 families in the village and start the village. 40 families are from the retired soldiers, and 40 families were the war generation people who used to live in that village before the Korean War. So it started like that. And now there are 400 population living there, 1 school, and 1 church, 1 medical center, and 1 grocery market where we are gonna visit, and that's it. So younger generations do not want to live there anymore, so only older people lives in this village. Right? We've seen one village from the observatory, the South Korean Freedom Village, right? But that's called the Freedom Village, but not much freedom in there. You know why? Because of its sensitive location. It is most restricted village in South Korea. There is curfew from midnight to 5 a.m. So no one is allowed to leave their homes during that time. And every day there is a daily road check in 7 p.m. 7 p.m. And when the farmers are going out to the fields, UN soldiers will follow them. And the village is just 400 meters away from the military demarcation line, and the rice farms are closer to the borderline. Yeah. But if that place is so restricted like this, why would the villagers live in there? There are two huge benefits. First, no tax. Second, no military service. So still there are 138 farmers living in there, right? Okay, so when we go into the village, Unification Village, you will see all the houses having South Korean flag. South Korean flag are in front of all houses. When it's high up, that means people in the house. When it's low down, nobody at home. All right. So you can also check out that there are no front gates at the houses because there are no thieves or no beggars. Why? All the people who's coming into the village should check at the checkpoint. So no thieves can come here, right? Okay, so this is the starting of the Unification Village. On your right side, you will see the ginseng field with blue tent, right? Okay, all right. So this is the house that has the flags on the right side and left side. There are many South Korean flags. And soon on your left side, there will be one yellow building, Gunne Elementary School, one and only elementary school in this village. 39 students and 11 teachers. And this is the elementary school. And on your right side, there will be one medical center with green cross. One white building, small white building with green cross is, this one is the medical center. And next to the medical center, you will see one church. That's the only church in here. And also on your left side, there will be one military bunker with orange line. On the left side to the bottom, right here. Can you see that? That's the bunker where people evacuate during the emergency situation. Okay, so whenever there is siren ringing in the village, people must go inside. There are weapons and emergency food inside. Right? Have you seen South Korean flag hanging in the houses? Yes. Korean people believe that the balance between yin and yang is most important. So our flag itself is yin and yang. Did you see the circle one? That's the called taeguk symbol. Looks like a Pepsi Coke mark. Yes, that's yin and yang. And 4 trigrams on each side, the black ones, that is heaven, earth, water, and fire. So that's the perfect balance of yin and yang. On your left side, you can see the richest house in the village, the pinkish color house. Yes, that's the richest house. And I heard this owner of the house, Mr. Gan, owns most of the ginseng farms here because ginseng is very expensive and hard to grow. It has to be grown 6 years. 6 years, we count that as a fully mature ginseng. And in the village local grocery market, you can find out the ginseng products. And the most popular souvenir here is ginseng tea and ginseng wine. And also the other one is North Korean liquor, such as North Korean blueberry wine and North Korean cognac. And the other one is soybean products, such as soybean chocolate, soybean ice cream, right? And the other popular DMZ souvenir here is the barbed wire. We exchanged the barbed wire lines in the southern limit line and replaced it with a new one. But with that barbed wire fence, South Korean government made a souvenir like a frame. That's similar to Berlin Wall pieces. You can see that in Berlin, right? Okay, that's one of the souvenirs that is popular in here. On your left side, that's the toilet over here. And in front of us, that's the local grocery market where you can see some souvenirs. And the meeting time back on the bus will be 3:25. 3:25 back on the bus.
Our DMZ tour continued at a store catered to tourists, where you can buy snacks and souvenirs. This was another stop in our day that was interesting, but if time is limited, could easily be skipped. The tour wraps up at Unification Village, or Tongilcheong, a small farming community located just south of the demilitarized zone. This village was created after the Korean War and is home to civilians who live under special regulations due to its location. As you look around, you'll see fields of rice and soybeans, crops the village is known for, and learn how residents balance everyday life with the unique security restrictions of the area. It's a fascinating look at life near the DMZ. After wrapping up our DMZ tour, we headed back into the heart of Seoul and made our way to Myeongdong Street just before dusk. The sun was setting, the air was cooling down, and the streets were already filling with people heading out for the evening. It felt like the perfect transition from a day focused on history and reflection to the lively beat of the city. As we approached Myeongdong, the sidewalks grew busier and the atmosphere shifted into full street market mode. Vendors were setting up their stalls and the smell of food drifted through the air. Even without the nighttime lights, the area had its own kind of glow. Bright shop signs, colorful displays, and the constant movement of people weaving through the street. We wandered through the crowds, taking our time to explore the different stalls and storefronts. Everywhere we looked, there was something happening. Music was playing, people were shopping and eating and enjoying the evening. After exploring for a while, we found a cozy Korean chicken restaurant tucked between the shops. It was exactly what we needed, some delicious Korean fried chicken, a place to sit and a chance to unwind after such a full day.
Zach, what's your opinion? Since fork or finger food?
I'm gonna eat it with a finger, but okay, I'm gonna eat it with a fork. It's warm, hot.
참 신기해 너 없이 사라지는 거 보면 잠깐이었지만 우리 한 추억들 잊지 못해 호흡은 마치 don't better don't better 참 이상해 솔직히 말야 가끔 생각나 너의 말투 표정이 뭔지 혹시 너도 그래 I'm just hoping that you don't better don't better 우연히 너를 만났어 어색한 분위기 속에 너와 나의 chemistry 날 끌어안아줄 때 난 기억해
After dinner, it was time for more exploring, shopping, and even some almond taste testing. HBAF, which stands for Healthy But Awesome Flavors, is the largest nut brand in Korea and can be found in stores throughout the country. It stands up to its name, being one of Korea's popular snacks. We're inside the almond store where you can buy a bag of really unique almonds. One of the cool things that I found over here is the Pop Rocks almonds. So we're gonna try one of those.
Looks pretty good, huh?
All right, let's try it. It's popping.
What do you think? What's your rating out of 10?
I would totally buy this.
It's only 8,500.
Big
corn. All right. As our representative from Iowa.
Tell us how it is. Pretty bad. This one is Chungyeong mayo. So this one is pretty much like some spicy pepper with mayonnaise.
Wow, sounds delicious.
Not even a flavor out of that. Yep, it's what you would expect. Now that one is a lot better than the mayo pepper one.
With flavors ranging from its original honey butter almond to our favorite, Starlight Pang Pang, a white chocolate coated almond with embedded popping candy, or Pop Rocks as we know them. Ending our DMZ adventure in Myeongdong gave us the perfect balance, quiet reflection in the morning and a vibrant everyday life of Seoul in the evening. They have like shakes in there. It does. That's what it's there for.
No.
Of course it is.
Why? It's ginormous. It's like a
39. Yeah, it's way too big. It's way too big for me.
Yeah.
I didn't see rather classy.
You look like a kid that put on his dad's coat to go to work.
You look sketch.
One big, one big.
That's a cool hat.
Wait, hold on. Can you get one of me like this?
사랑하는 우리 엄마 생일 birthday to you.
Thank you for only having one camera. Is that actually a cake?
It's an ice cream cake.
Wait, that's so cute.
So, come in, eat some cake.
This is so cute.
Yeah, we gotta get a picture with you with it. There you go.
With the cake holder. Okay.
So this is why we had to stop.
So many times.
So you know.
It was like deal day at Baskin Robbins too, so there's a huge line.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
Wait, so Zach, are those like? Wow, that's amazing.
Ice cream cake.
Are those blown up balloons or helium balloons I can hypothetically huff?
You could huff them, but you would be getting my breath inside your lungs.
Yeah, that's the
Wow, that's a lot of
That's
work.
what I did. That's what I did at my birthday party.
That's why I was a little late to come get you guys earlier today.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
But let me know if
Maybe
it's
we
okay.
won't let you